Rome's darkest emperor began as its brightest hope. In AD 37, a 24-year-old Gaius Caligula stepped into power to thunderous cheers and promises of a gentler age. Senators smiled, crowds waved laurel, and the marble of the Palatine gleamed like a new dawn. 4 years later, that same marble would be slick with blood. Between those moments lies a story of theater, fear, and a city that learned to hold its breath. Soon after his accession, a grave illness struck, and when he rose, the room had changed. Favors curdled into threats, jokes became tests. Names vanished from guest lists, then from the city itself. The court discovered a new rule: breathe only when the emperor allows it. Power became public performance. Senators were ordered to jog beside his chariot in full dress, sandals scraping the stones while he laughed. Banquets glittered with gold and dread. Laughter first, sentences after. Ancient writers even placed grieving parents at his table the very night their son died, forced to smile through tears while the emperor described how easily anyone might follow. Whether every detail is true or sharpened by hate, the cruelty felt deliberate. Then he crossed the line between mortal and divine. He raised a temple to his own numen, his sacred power, with a golden statue dressed each morning to match his outfit. Ancient sources claim he ordered famous statues of the gods altered, heads removed, his own likeness fitted in their place. Believe it or not, that is what they wrote, and Rome whispered it in fear. He appeared as Jupiter with thunderbolt, as Apollo crowned in laurel, sometimes as Venus, draped and jeweled. To friends it was theater, a living tableau. To enemies it was blasphemy with a throne. Even his horse became a message. Incitatus lived like a magistrate. Marble stall, ivory manger, streets hushed so it could sleep. He boasted he might make it consul, not senator, consul. Was it a joke that cut like a dagger, or a threat wrapped in laughter? Either way, the Senate heard it clearly. You are replaceable. The treasury burned. Ancient tallies say billions of sesterces vanished in a single year. Then came seizures, new taxes, and creative donations to refill the chest. But the spending bought spectacle. He ordered ships lashed into a floating road across the Bay of Baiae and rode it glittering as if prophecy itself could be mocked. Rome stared and could not decide whether to cheer or shudder. For the masses there was blood and thunder, gladiators, beasts, the roar of 100,000 throats. For the elite, there were invitations no one could refuse, where hospitality wore the mask of fear. Everyone played their part on his stage. Across the Channel, his invasion of Britain ended with a punchline. Soldiers were ordered to gather seashells as the spoils of the sea, trophies for a victory that never happened. Rome laughed, carefully. The joke always belonged to the man who could decide if you lived long enough to get it. He deified his sister Drusilla after her death. Others he destroyed without ceremony. He exiled Agrippina and Livilla, sisters who would only return later under a different emperor. At night he whispered to Jupiter and, the stories say, called the moon to his bed. Servants learned that in this palace even the sky could be summoned, but mercy could not. January 24th, AD 41. In a narrow cryptoporticus on the Palatine, Praetorian officers closed in. The first blow came from Cassius Dio. More followed in a frenzy of steel and breathless echoes. The cheer that crowned his reign came back as a question. What exactly had Rome loved? Was he mad or brutally lucid about what absolute power does? Our sources drip with hatred, and some tales are almost certainly sharpened to justify the knives. Yet the pattern is hard to miss. Humiliation as policy, divinity as costume, empire as a stage where truth bows to spectacle. If his reign teaches anything, it is this: absolute power loves theater, and the audience always pays. Madman or mirror? Which mask feels truer to you? Legend, propaganda, or something colder in between? Tell me in the comments.